Nityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtike Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. We are reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 22, entitled Bali Maharaj Surrenders His Life. So we read till text number 31 yesterday. We're talking about the tests are tailor-made. That Krishna not only tests his devotees, but he gives them the necessary strength to tolerate and to be a glorious devotee. That means to pass that test. Krishna wants us to pass the test. Krishna is not our enemy, he's our friend, he's our supporter, he's maintainer, he's nourisher. He is there to help us, guide us, protect us. So he gives the strength also if we humbly seek for it. So let's see what happens from text number 31 onwards. Esha me prapte sthanam dushparam armarer api swarnir antar asyayam bhavatindro mad ashrayah. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Lord continued, because of his great tolerance, I have given him a place not obtainable even by the demigods. He will become the king of the heavenly planets during the period of Manu known as Savarni. This is the purport. This is the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if the Lord takes away a devotee's material opulence, the Lord immediately offers him a position of which the demigods even cannot dream. There are many examples of this in the history of devotional service. One of them is the opulence of Sudama Vipra. Sudama Vipra suffered severe material scarcity, but he was not disturbed and did not deviate from devotional service. Thus, he was ultimately given an exalted position by the mercy of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Here, the word Mat Ashraya is very significant because the Lord wanted to give Bali Maharaj the exalted position of Indra. The demigods might naturally have been envious of him and might have fought to disturb his position. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead assured Bali Maharaj that he would always remain under the Lord's protection. Mad Ashraya. Hare Krishna. So in this verse, we see that Krishna never takes anything from his devotee. Rather, apparently, even if it takes, but it is for something, giving something better. I remember His Grace Charu Prabhu gave this nice example of pruning. A gardener prunes. So Krishna is an expert gardener, pruning, like cutting, and sometimes cutting the weeds makes sense, but sometimes a gardener may even cut the good, parts of the plant. Why? For the best to come. So at that time, it's hard to even understand or make a sense of what's going on. But if we have faith that the Lord will arrange the best for us, then certainly He will. So, in the period of Savarni Manu, which is the next Manu or the 8th Manu, after the 7th is Vivasvat Manu is going on, and the next Manu, Bali Maharaj will get opulence which even the great demigods cannot get. That means he will get back all that kingdom. And for a devotee, it doesn't matter. Narayana para sarve na kutaschana vividyati swarga pavarga. What is that? Narkeshu swarga pavarga narkeshu api tulyartha darshinaha. They see everything with equal vision. They are not hungry for Swarga. They are not hungry for Sutaloka or impersonal liberation. It's whatever Krishna arranges. Mat Ashraya, that is real protection, Prabhupada is mentioning. Savarni Mataji also mentioned this point that people think, oh, I don't get COVID, that is the protection of the Lord. No, this is not the protection of Lord. Oh, I should not die. It's not the protection because everyone will die. Or praying, oh, my uncle is sick or my this is sick, he should never die. This is not Lord's protection. So real protection is the chance to perform bhakti, Krishna consciousness. This is real protection. So rare, so rare. Pramana Pramite Kona Bhagyavana Jiva Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. This is real protection. Body, sooner or later it will pass away. Does that mean that Krishna is not good to his devotees? No. Real protection is Mat Ashraya. Always at the lotus feet of Lord. So very nice point here. Okay, text 32. Yes, Kashish Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, Danvatanam, all devotees. Text number 32. Tavat Sutalam Madhyastam Vishwakarma Vinirmitam Yadadhayo Vyadhayascha Klamamastandra Parabhavah Nopasarga Nivasatam Sambhavanti Mamekshaya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Until Bali Maharaj achieves the position of King of Heaven, he shall live on the planet Sutal, which was made by Vishwakarma according to my order. Because it is especially protected by me, it is free from mental and bodily miseries, fatigue, dizziness, defeat, and all other disturbances. Bali Maharaj, you may now go live there peacefully. Purport. Vishwakarma is the engineer or architect for the palatial buildings in the heavenly planets. Therefore, since he was engaged to construct the residential quarters of Bali Maharaj, the buildings and palaces on the planet Sutala must at least equal those on the heavenly planets. A further advantage of this place designed for Bali Maharaj was that he would not be disturbed by any outward calamity. Moreover, he would not be disturbed by mental or bodily miseries. These are all extraordinary features of the planet Sutala, where Bali Maharaj would live. In the Vedic literatures, we find descriptions of many different planets where there are many places, palaces, hundreds and thousands of times better than those of which we have experienced on this planet Earth. When we speak of palaces, this naturally includes the idea of great cities and towns. Unfortunately, when modern scientists try to explore other planets, they see nothing but rocks and sand. Of course, they may go on their frivolous excursions, but the students of the Vedic literature would never believe them or give them any credit for exploring other planets. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So here they have explained about the Sutala planet, that how beautifully it is constructed by Vishwakarma. It is free of all the miseries, and it is not less than any other heavenly planet. And because it is protected by Lord. And also they have mentioned here the misery of modern science, that when the scientists and astronauts explored other planets, what they could see is the only rocks and the sand. But in our Vedic culture, in our Vedic literature, it's proof that the heavenly planets are far better and more beautiful than our Mother Earth. And we, as the students of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, can understand this very well. And this is, we can say, our treasure, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. This is my understanding, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, back to you. Please, Zach.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So, quite a few points to meditate here. So it's not that, okay, now someone can say, well, this has already happened in the beginning of the 7th canto, and the 7th Manvantrara, and this will happen in the 8th Manvantrara. What about the 4 lakh years? It's a long period. And then Krishna says, or Vamandev says, I will also go there. Now you go, and I will accompany you. I will be there. I will accompany you as a doorkeeper and do special vigilance and make sure that I'll become your gatekeeper and make sure all these troubles, miseries, fatigue, dizziness, defeat, enemy, etc., they can't harm you because I'm your doorkeeper. So, and the next, after the 7th, you'll become the Indra in the Savarni Manu, or the next Manu, Savarni. There, Krishna never leaves his devotees. Rather, he's conquered by the love of his devotee. He's there to protect his devotee at all times. All we have to do is just kind of go by his plan. So much love for his devotee like Bali. How much, if we think of nothing but Krishna, Krishna will think of nothing but us. That was Bali Maharaj. He gave up everything for Krishna, Krishna gave up everything for his devotee. That's a reciprocal relationship. Devotee can, Krishna can bind his devotee by Varuna Pasha, and devotee like Bali can bind Krishna and make him come with him by his prema pasha, by his ropes of love. So this is the reciprocal relationship. Okay. Yes, Lakshay Prabhu, 33, you want to read?
Correct. Indrasena Maharaja yahi bo badram astate sutalam swargi pratyam nyati bi parivarita. Translation: O Bali Maharaja, Indrasena, now you may go to the planet Sutala, which is desired even by the demigods. Live there peacefully, surrounded by your friends and relatives, all good fortune unto you. Purport. Bali Maharaj was transferred from the heavenly planet to planet Sutala, which is hundreds of times better than heaven, as indicated by words Swargi bi Pratyam. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead deprived his devotee of material opulence, this does not mean that the Lord put him into poverty. Rather, Lord promotes him to higher position. The Supreme Personality of Godhead did not ask Bali Maharaja to separate from his family. Instead, the Lord allowed him to stay with his family members, Nyati bi parivarita. So Hare Krishna Prabhu. So here Bali Maharaj moving to a different planet where it's 100 times better than heavenly planet. And in addition, Supreme Personality of Godhead allowed Bali Maharaj to stay with his family. That is what my understanding. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Again, the same point. If Krishna takes something, he will give 100 times better. If we have the faith, if we follow his plan. But if we think, no, this is not happening right, why is Krishna doing this, be grudging, envious, and just try to kind of take things upon in our own hands, and God doesn't know what's right for us. I know what's right for me. I'll take care of this. So then we'll just mess up. But Bali Maharaj completely surrendered. Krishna, if that's your plan, so be it. If you want me to be there, so be it. If you want me to be in any planet, any place, any situation. But the Lord is not our enemy. He's our best friend, best well-wisher, best caretaker. So he allowed him, he gave him like a place 100 times better, along with his family, etc. So very, very merciful Lord. Yes, Nandini Mataji, you want to read? Sure.
Yes, Prabhupada. And I also want to add a comment to the previous one. It says, one recently I heard nice lecture. It said, we want our intelligence and Krishna's power. We pray with our small intelligence what we really want and need, but we want Krishna's power with us, all the powers to make it complete. And that's such a wrong approach. That's all. So text, Dandat Pranam devotees. Text 34. Natvam bibhash vishanti lokesha kimuta pare tvachasanatigana daityang chakram me sudayishyati. Translation and purport by His Divineness is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. On the planet Sutala, not even the predominating deities of other planets, what to speak of ordinary people, will be able to conquer you. As far as the demons are concerned, if they transgress your rule, my disc will kill them. Wow, there are so many the special benedictions that not even demons, so Danavas, the children of Danu, like Aditi Daityas and Danu is Danavas, they won't be able to disturb you, and even the predominating deities of other planets, ordinary people. So nobody will be able to disturb. That's such a peace, mental peace is, and physical peace is so important. Back to you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So Krishna is guarding his devotees. Krishna is very possessive about his devotees. He's protecting with his chakra, his different weapons. We know this, how he protects Pandavas, how he protects Prahlad Das Thakur, how he protects Narad Muni, how he protects Srila Prabhupada. All pure devotees are always under the shelter of Krishna. The Vrajavasis from Indra's wrath. So he's using his chakra, and he can break his promise. His name is Chakrapani. He who can even hold chakra, even on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, to break his own vow to protect his devotee. That's how much Bhakta Vatsal he is. So the Lord is assuring that if anyone transgresses your rule, that means if they're disobedient or try to attack you, then I'll kill them beforehand. The Lord is so loving towards his devotees. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Sabrina Mataji, you want to read? Okay. Swati Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Danvat Pranam. Text 35. Rakshishye sarvato ham tvam sagunam saparishadam sada sanhitam vira tatra mam dakshyate bhavan. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O great hero, I shall always be with you and give you protection in all respects, along with your associates and paraphernalia. However, you will always be able to see me there. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Rakshishye sarvatro. That Krishna protects his devotees in all respects. with your associates and paraphernalia. And devotee is never away from Krishna. Krishna is never away from his devotees. So this is again the reciprocal. Santai Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. They're always Krishna conscious. They're always 24/7 in the company of the Lord. So the Lord is also never leaving the company of such devotees for even for a moment. That's their reciprocal relationships. So we come to the last verse of this chapter, which is 36. Yes, Minna Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Hare Krishna devotees. Text 36. Tatra Danava Daityanam
Haribol, you there? Am I audible? Is she audible?
You are audible, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I can
Sri
hear her.
Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada ki jai.
Mataji, can you please read again? Somehow your connection like froze.
Oh, do you want me to repeat the text?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Tatra Danava Daityanam Sangati Bhava Asuraha Drishtava Madanubhava Vai Sadyah Kuntyo Vinand Kshati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Because there you will see my supreme prowess, your materialistic ideas and anxieties that have arisen from your association with the demons and danavas will immediately be vanquished. Purport. The Lord assured Bali Maharaja of all protection, and finally the Lord assured him of protection from the effects of bad association with the demons. Bali Maharaja certainly became an exalted devotee, but he was somewhat anxious because his association was not purely devotional. The Supreme Personality of Godhead therefore assured him that his demoniac mentality would be annihilated. In other words, by the association of devotees, the demoniac mentality is vanquished. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti vritkarna rasayanah katha. Bhagavat 3.25.25. When a demon associates with devotees engaged in glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he gradually becomes a pure devotee. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 8th Canto, 22nd chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam entitled Bali Maharaja Surrenders His Life. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So, very, very interesting verse that the Lord always wants the benefit of the devotee and wanted to completely purify Bali Maharaj. So that, the famous example we gave here that when the cat picks the rat, it's death for the rat. But when the cat picks the kitten, it's situating the kitten at a safe place. So yes, Bali Maharaj picked Vamandev picked Bali Maharaj, bound him. But what he did, he transported him to a safer and better place, both materially and spiritually, right? We just discussed materially, it was hundreds of times better than Indra's place. So who will not want that, right? Materially also better, and spiritually also only pure devotee association which will lead to our purification. So very good proposal. That's what the Lord did to him. And very, very nice point, very, very practical. By the association of devotees, the demoniac mentality is vanquished. So therefore, association of devotees is very, 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 very important. This is the conclusion of all the scriptures. Satam prasange, intense association of devotees. What should we do? We should hear Krishna's name, form, quality. Bhavanti rit karna rasayana katha. Tajoshnadapavargavartamani. Shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. Shraddha rati bhakti will come step by step. Attachment, faith, rati, and devotion will certainly come to those who take intense association of devotees. And what do they do in the association of devotees? They do Bhagavad Katha. They read Bhagavatam, they hear Bhagavatam, they practice Krishna consciousness. So, chapter 22 at a glance. This chapter has 36 verses. In the previous chapter, we were discussing that Lord Vamandev accused Bali Maharaj, where should I keep the third step? And pretty much everything was taken up. And then Bali Maharaj spoke in the first 11 verses of chapter 22, which is this chapter, that, well, you can put the step on my head. Because if someone gives charity to someone, let's say someone gave his entire home, but that doesn't mean that the person inside the home has also become a servant. So the person is still, the proprietor is higher than the property. That's the point there. So, and Bali Maharaj said, my greatest fear is to not follow the vows given to a Brahmana. I do not fear for going to hell or being arrested, etc. I fear defamation, asadhu vadat, that I gave a vow and I didn't follow the words given to a sadhu or a Brahmana. So there's kind of a indirect conversation between the Lord and his devotee Vamana and Bali Maharaj, and then ultimately many demons achieved this perfection of mystic yogis, etc. So Bali Maharaj is responding that I want to offer my complete self, and there comes the grandfather Prahlad Maharaj, who was also, he's remembering that he was also harassed by Hiranyakashipu in multiple ways, yet he remained very, very faithful, always thinking about the lotus feet of Lord Hari, Lord Krishna. And then he also mentions, well, what is the material life? It's all very, very futile. Text number 9, very important. Whether it's, husband, wife, relatives, home, property, wealth, car, all these will leave its owner at the end of life. Either the thing will go first or the person will go first. Something or the other will go first, right? Because whether it's friends, relatives, property, the relationship, the material, anything in material connection is temporary. For example, someone has a phone. Either the phone will die or the body of the person who is the proprietor of the phone will die. One thing will die. So there is separation in short. So, but the shelter of the Lord is infallible. So as again, Nitya Mataji just brought this point. So our support system should be not on temporary things. If the support system, if our shelter is on temporary things, then sooner or later that will break. And then our heart break, then our bhakti also break, then everything will break and then break down. But if our shelter is on the eternal, spiritual, bhakti, Bhagavan, Bhakta, then we will be free from all the darkness. So Prahlad Maharaj arrives, the great devotee arrives, and like a moon in all the darkness. And Bali Maharaj could not offer his Dandavat Pranam. Why? He's because tied up by the Varun Pasha. So he just kind of, bows down his head to offer his respect. And he's feeling ashamed also because he's not able to fulfill the vow given to a Brahmana. And Prahlad was very overwhelmed. Tears of jubilations, hair standing on end, great signs of ecstasy. Prahlad Maharaj also endorsed the punishment given to Vamandev. By Vamandev to Bali Maharaj, saying that in short, this is not a punishment, rather you saved Bali from all the false prestige, from all the so-called illusion. Is there your mercy by punishing him? You didn't take away anything from Bali because everything belongs to you only. So how can you take something which belongs to you? So interesting. And it's your special mercy, because material opulence is very, very bewildering. And then Vidyavali also comes, the wife of Bali Maharaj. And Brahmaji was having some conversations with Vamandev. And Vidyavali kind of interrupts that, "Oh my lord, please release Bali. He is thinking that he has something to give," not knowing that everything again belongs to you. So fools think that they have to give, they can give something to the Lord. So in that way, she's also speaking a little bit heavy. But ultimately she asked that you please release my husband. Then from text 24 onwards, Vamandev's mercy on Bali Maharaj is shared. And then he kind of glorifies that how poverty is the Lord's mercy, and pridelessness is Lord's mercy. To have high birth, opulence, wealth, and not be proud is no ordinary thing. It's the mercy of the Lord. Material opulence, and to such people, material opulence won't disturb. We discussed the example of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Easier said than done. To be very, very cautious. And then Vamandev glorifies Bali Maharaj for his truthfulness, for his forbearance, that he didn't give up. And we discussed this point in great detail in the last 2-3 days, that adversity tests a devotee. Adversity is like a test. And that shines the devotee like more glorious. The Lord will help also. We discussed that point. And finally, the today's verses we read, that how Lord Vamandev gave him even a better situation, both materially and other aspects, and always caring for him as is with the Sudarshan Chakra and guarding him as a doorkeeper in Sutala Loka. Hare Krishna. Any other devotees have any comments, additions, thoughts in this chapter? Any reflections, questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So I have a reflection, Prabhuji. I was reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam part 1. So there, when Narad Rishi goes to Indra Lok, he sees Indra, all the demigods, including Mother Aditi, Kashyap, they all are doing puja for Vamandev. So after Vamandev getting the puja, he just walks away. And Narad Rishi goes and he glorifies Indra, saying that you are a great devotee. Vamandev is accepting your prayer and he's your brother. At the time, Indra says, yeah, he's my brother, he's my family, but he doesn't stay with me. He goes to the Sutala, where he stands as a gatekeeper. Then, so while reading today, Bali Maharaj is given his family and he can stay with his family. But Vamandev on the other side, he's leaving his family and he's coming and staying as a gatekeeper. So how much Lord loves his devotee? That's a takeaway point for me, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Very nice. Anyone else has any other thoughts, comments, or additions? Okay, so it's almost time also. It's past 8:45, so we can pause here, and if you have any reflections, you can take tomorrow as well. And we're almost towards the end of Canto 8, just the last 2 chapters pending, which we will complete in the next upcoming weeks. So we'll pause here for today. Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai,
Jai.
Bali Maharaj ki jai, Shri Vaman ki jai, Samaveta Paramahansa ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Patrabhyascha kripasindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Thank you
Krishna.
very much.
Hare Krishna.
Very
Hare
good.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare